It is the pink elephant theory. If the guest wants a pink elephant, get them a pink elephant. If you can't find a pink elephant, get a horse, paint it pink, convince the guest it's an elephant. Do whatever it takes to ensure they're happy. That's it. Are they happy? We are back. You were tuning in to the Pink Elephant with Chris Adams, and I got to tell you, this is a first for me. I have the luxury and the pleasure of having on today Barak Zilberberg with us. He has actually announced his campaign for the 2024 presidential nominee. Barak, thank you so much for joining us, my friend.
Oh, thank you, Chris. Thank you. It's a pleasure. It's an honor to be on your show. And I'm looking forward for our conversation.
I never expected that, this week I would be sitting down with a potential presidential candidate right here in front of me. And I've got to ask you, I have a ton of questions to ask you, but what got you to this point? What made you believe that now is the time that you need to put your name in the hat on this?
I believe is that, I just want to announce that I am running as an independent from the Republican Party. So here I am on your show, making this official announcement. Whereas, I've been a long life Republican. However, in the Republican Party, there's a lot of policies that I'm not in agreement to, and some that needs to be implemented in, so that we correlate everything towards the people, as to what the demographics of our society's anatomy is. You understand? Because we have all sectors and all different people and ethnicities, colors, sexual orientation, genders, sexual orientations that exist and consist into our nation, not only in our nation, but further all throughout the world. Okay? It all exists. So, according to our Constitution, our rights, our amendments, we have to stick to it and adhere to equality. And that's why I'm running. Actually, now I switched my party to being independent, so I can work between both aisles of the parties and get stuff done. And I know Ross Perot ran for independent back in the days, and he called his own shots. He said what he had to say, he did he ran a very successful campaign running on the independent ticket. And I as well would like to position myself in the same way.
Understood. I tell you, politics is it is a polarizing conversation right now in our country. I feel like regardless of what side of the aisle you sit on, there's the room for conversation is very difficult right now. No one wants to have a conversation to see anyone else's point of view or where they're coming from. So it's an interesting take for you to be able to come in as an independent and be able to hopefully bring two sides together to have that conversation.
That'll be awesome, and bring and moving our nation forward. Again, this here is not it's not a movie or it's not a reality show. It's our nation, and our nation must be taken seriously amongst all of us that reside here as U.S. citizens and permanent residents and so on and so forth. So we must make it into reality and not into anything else.
Couldn't agree more. And I got to ask you, what got you to this point, and what's your background? And it's not every day that someone says, what, I'm drawing a line in the sand. I'm putting my name in the hat for this. So how did you get to this point, and what have you done that says, hey, I'm the right person for the job. You should be voting for me?
Well, basically, I've been working since the age of 13 years old. So I understand the intricacies of being independent and self-sufficient on my own, to hold myself, to support myself as a person. And then thereafter, I've, built a family, which I support as well. So you can only be as good as if you can support yourself, you could support others. And I'm at a point where I've gained so much experience through my entrepreneurial ventures. I am in real estate. I'm not only a landlord, I'm a developer, I am a flipper. I am a management company as well. So I know all the intricacies of real estate. So with that said, I am very successful in real estate, and I have a foundation called the Zilberberg Foundation, in which I would like to incorporate affordable housing so that every U.S. citizen can enter affordable housing affordably. Very important. And everybody in the United States, every citizen should have their own home, I believe. Building equity and having a stake uh, in the game of real estate wholeheartedly. Now, I've worked all throughout my life. I've started and ventured into a successful plumbing company in which I had many employees, and I was delegating in the office as well with all of my employees. And we ran a successful company, a very successful company. And then thereafter, I ventured into real estate at the same time, and also flipping my own homes, staying in them for 2 years. And then in each home, you have exemption of $500,000 if you have an excess of in your sale. So you don't have to pay taxes. So $500,000, you go on and move on to the next project, the next home. And that's what I've done 13 times, working in my company, just thinking of ways in order to profit and excel. And even though there were recessions such as 2008, there was one in 1994, 2008, and then with this pandemic, supposedly that has happened, I was able to weather the storms. And that's because I am very conservative. And as far as numbers go, numbers never lie. And I correlate everything to numbers. If numbers make sense, then it's something that we need to venture in. And if it doesn't, simply you just don't venture into it. Everything has to be accounted for, and numbers have to come to play.
So, being successful as an entrepreneur, obviously, and doing so much that you've done in real estate and even beyond, moving into politics it's tough, right? You're going from something that you've learned how to do extremely well, and moving into something that is extremely challenging, to say the least. And honestly, it's going to take a hit to the entrepreneur side of what you're doing to move over into politics. What has happened that you feel the necessity now to step away from something that you've grown as large as you have? You're highly successful doing it. What's happened in our country that you feel now is the time for you to potentially step away from that to move into politics?
Right. Well, as to where the country is headed and down spiraling, not only that, the leaders and the politicians that are in positions as well, they're all corrupt, and they sell us short. I'm talking to you as a citizen. You're a citizen. I am as well. And we were electing people in office that have done unrighteous things, have sold their country short. They haven't worked for us as people, the American people, because we are public servants, no other. We serve the people. And I feel as though since I've been an adolescent, I've been viewing as to the dynamics of politics. And I really haven't seen a real righteous person, honorable, integral, family oriented, a person of total integrity into office. I never viewed it in my life. And we are not viewing it as well out there.
So, what
So,
do you think? Not to cut you off there, but as you look over the course of history, and if you say that you're yet to find someone that's really has that foundation that you believe that a public servant should have. I've always felt like that individuals that go into politics, they they go in with the purest of intentions. They go in with the idea that, you know what,
yes.
here's my chance to make an impact and a difference in my community. I feel I'm one of those guys that I want to see the best in everyone. And so I feel like I don't believe that people go into politics for the wrong reasons. I have to believe that in my heart as a
Yes.
human.
No, what it is they're saving their ASS basically, you know. That's what they're doing. So they're running and for the wrong reasons. You understand? Either they're reprimanded, either they have some deficiency in the judicial system of some sort. So they're running, you know. So when you run, this way you supposedly, strategically, you could save yourself, you know, by running and then getting elected and, you know, and all that. So, uh, no, I mean, we need to backtrack and we need to see a lot. I'm running as independent. I've been a Republican. Donald Trump never showed his taxes, you know, just recently he has. Why isn't it he doesn't show his taxes? Why, if he's running for office, you know, why isn't he being transparent? Same thing in the other administrations, all of the administrations across the board from both aisles. I'm talking Republicans, Democrats, all throughout, you know, not naming only Trump, naming Biden, you know, naming the Clintons, naming Obama, naming the Bushes, naming all of the people across the aisles is bringing just legitimacy into administration once and for all, getting rid of the corruption, getting rid of all of that. And what it is, it's just a destruction for our nation. You have to understand because they're presenting all types of situations and dramas within their personal lives, and that gets into us as a nation. So we need to concentrate on no personalities. We need to concentrate strictly on the nation as to the people's needs, their wants, how we could enhance our country, how we could bring our resources of manufacturing and industries back into our nation. So we see made in USA, how we could have fast transit systems to and from our cities in our nation, how we could enhance our nation domestically, you know, how we could take care of our people here. That's what we have to focus on. Nothing else. You know, all you see in media is, oh, you know, there is an indictment and there's a court, and then they found cocaine over now in Biden's West Wing, and you know, it just goes on and on and on. And I just shut it off. I don't have time for that. You know, I am here to direct the country as needed because I have went throughout all of Nevada, the state of Nevada, and throughout our country as well. And I've listened in on the ground to people as to what their pains are, what their wants are, what their needs are, how they want the nation to be leaded is very important. So I have all that information within myself, and I am basically a voice for the people. I would like to bring the power back to the people. You know, no other. And that's how it is in our Constitution, whereas we the people. So I am to serve you, no other. And everything that I do in my administration will be transparent. You'll see everything. And also, I would like to take polls within all US citizens across the board as to what they think about a measure that's coming on my desk. What do you feel about? How do you feel about it as a whole? You know, and as to signing it or versus not signing it, because I am to work for you, simply for you. And that's how I've conducted myself in the private sector. I've worked strictly for my customers, for the people out there. And the same thing is moving it over to the public sector. There's no difference.
I tell you, in theory, I love what you're saying. I love the idea that we're, having someone that really is listening to the voice of the people, and looking out for their best interests at heart. I think there are so many things and factors I think that come into play once you finally get into that space of individuals that are attached to. I mean, we look at cost of goods of how to do business within the U.S. versus outside the U.S. Bringing it back, seeing made in the USA. Everybody would love to see that. How do we do that? That's cost effective, that we can actually afford it. When we look at inflation rates of where they're at already, to bring things back into the U.S., how much more would inflation continue to push? So the things you're saying, I would love nothing more than to see those things transpire. And hopefully you're the guy that has a plan on how do we take it from idea to actual execution, because I think that's the key here is individuals that are able to take in theory, what we'd like to see happen, but truly have a game plan. And I think that probably one of the challenges I've always had in watching politics and trying to see, especially as you're coming up on an election cycle, is to say everybody has great ideas, right? They sit back and this is what we want to do. It's who's the individual that's going to show me a plan? Who's the person that's going to say, here's the idea, but here's the X to Y by when of how we're actually going to execute it and bring it to fruition. And so it'll be exciting to see if you're able to actually take these amazing ideas you have and put them into something that can be implemented for the country.
That's right. And the way you have to do it is you have to show facts. You have to know how to present it, how to pitch it, and how to present the facts. That's it. If you have those three factors in your presentation, it's sold. That's it. It's game over. This way, if we know how to pitch it, present it, and present the facts, and everything is actuals in hindsight, in the numbers in the future, then it will be bought. Not only by the House, by the Senate, by everyone, and I will be, as far as when I'm in office, I will be wholeheartedly within both chambers and all chambers and every sort of interests that are in Washington. So this way, if we could move things a lot faster, you understand? I'm not sitting only in the White House. Okay, it's the White House. It's the house of the people. It's not my house. It's the American people's home. So I have the leisure of being there, and from there I go into the Capitol and I make things happen. I talk with people and to the right people as to, moving certain things that are needed. So it is on my desk and I can sign that piece of legislation for the people, simply for the people. It'll be my honor.
Oh, I could only imagine the honor it feels to be able to sit in that role and represent an entire nation, and how you're hopefully taking the nation in the right direction. And so I have to ask the question: how has your family responded to the idea that you are looking to go into? You're not just going into politics. Let's be honest, right? You didn't say, hey, you know what? I think I'm going to try and go out for the a local seat here and see if I can make a difference. This isn't the homeowners association that you're looking to adjust things on. You said, you know what? I'm going to go from I want to make a difference. So let's just not do it here. Let's go directly to the very top seat. How's your family responded to that?
Well, my family, they don't understand. I mean, uh, they may think I'm crazy. I don't know what's going on, but I believe in myself, and I know my capabilities, and I know what I can do. So therefore, I'm very serious about it, and the only way really is to make a difference is to be in that position. Otherwise, there's no way. I mean, just like a business, right? You're a business owner. You're the boss. You go in there. You call the shots. You interview the people. Delegate everybody's functions and direction within the company. That's an art. You're basically as a business owner, you're an orchestrator. You have a band, and then you have a maestro there that is leading the band in every which way. So a business owner, entrepreneur, CEO, anything you'd like to call in title, is a maestro. You're putting all of these factors together and really making it happen. And you have to be a very influential person, not, I'm saying even people, so even so more, but you have to be an influential person in order for people to understand how to explain and how to delegate, and then for them to be in positions of satisfaction and appreciation as well. If you have all of those factors, then you're a CEO, you're an entrepreneur, you're a businessman. The same thing goes for this nation. This nation has to be ran as a business. We have to understand what's coming in, what's going out, where everything is going out to, and how, in what ways we could save, in certain subjects and redirect it in subjects that is more needed for a nation, so we could bring everybody up. I would like wholeheartedly to bring all of the U.S. citizens, the people here in the United States, from a 1-2 percentile of wealth to a 40, even a 50% gap in wealth, and make this country the richest country in the world, and exporting goods from here as well, from our country. So we have cargo ships going out to other parts of the world. We manufacture our own goods here in the United States, and we take pride in our nation. And then furthermore, in order to do that, you have to really invest and incorporate everything into our educational systems for our children. It starts from way back there, from the bottom, and we work our way up. It's not like working our way up and down. It doesn't work that way. You have to start from the ground on up. That's how it works. So bringing up our educational systems, enhancing our teachers' salaries, and bettering everybody's lives so nobody's confused out there, and teaching literacy in the real world, financially, and how you earn, how you save, how you invest, and all of the tax codes as well. I mean, we should learn all of these intricacies. I learned it on my own along my way and the path of my life. So I know all of this, but I mean, it should be taught in our schools. Not only that, our children should have IQ tests at age 5. I believe we have to understand where they belong, and where we need to improve so that we bring them up to levels that is needed. Education and knowledge is very powerful. Nobody could ever take it away from you. You could travel all over the world, and that's what you have within yourself. Nobody could strip it away from you. So, and you definitely can succeed with knowledge. No question.
Education is a huge piece, and it should be not just a talking point, but it should be high on hopefully every politician's list of agendas that they have on how we're going to continue to focus on improving the education system within the United States as a whole. How we're going to make sure that we look at our teachers, our administrators, those that are the educators within our country. How are we going to make sure we're holding them in high regard? They serve an extremely important place, not just in the benefit of educating our young ones, but that determines the future of where we're going. And so education is a huge piece of a platform that I love to hear that someone's talking about. Going into this as an independent with, let's call a spade, not a ton of background in politics. What do you say to your naysayers? What are you going to say to those that are going to give every reason why you're not a good fit, or it doesn't make sense for you to be going in this position? What's that line you're going to be able to give back to them?
You mean what I'm going to say and portray as independent to all the Americans out there, us U.S. citizens? Is that what you're saying? What I'm going to say is very simple. I'm red, white, and blue. I'm not red, and I'm not blue. I'm for the nation. I'm for you. I'm for the people. I'm here to serve you, no others. That's number one. Secondly, I want to focus on all the voters that never voted in their lives because they never had any faith or trust in our candidates that are running and positioned furthermore. So I like to get other people into voting so they see as to who I am as an individual and my transparency and my passion and my love and my patriotism for this nation. And again, I would like to give back to this nation because I've been so fortunate. The fact that I've capitalized here and I've succeeded. And if it wasn't for everything that's correlated in our nation, I couldn't be where I am today. So all of those people in the military and the forefronts that fought for our nation and our rights and our constitutional values, and those who fell, for our country, I have much respect for them. So for me, it's not really about the money here. It's not money. It's about, giving back to the nation because of my success and looking out for each and every American, each and every person in our nation, and bringing along a set of values and an array of knowledge into our system here so that everybody is invited to the American dream and to the prosperity and opportunities that we have in this nation, which I know I'm a witness and I'm a living proof of it. Given and said all of that, I will present it all to each and every American and everybody around the world. Whoever wants to, intake all of this information, you're welcome.
I tell you, it's great to. I commend you on. There's some key words you said in there that I think are important. And you talked about gratitude and the fact that you've been, I can tell, very fortunate in your life, and you want to do whatever you can to try and give back, and that's important. And I think that, I think it's important that you realize that anyone that's going to be a public servant recognizes the benefits and how fortunate we all are to live in this country, and the fact that you really want to take advantage of the idea that you want to be able to give back to others, that you want to take what's been afforded to you and ensure that everyone has that same opportunity. That's a very commendable thing, my friend. So it's very nice to hear somebody that's going for a position of this caliber that believes that in their soul. So thank you for that. That's for sure.
Oh, no, my pleasure. And, if millions and billions of people can have an advantage of this, why not? We bring the wealth gaps up. We have no poverty. We don't have homeless anymore. Everybody is self-sufficient out there, not reliant on the government or their parents or their friends or anybody. They're known to be reliant on themselves. And that's unbelievable. And we're not on the food stamps, and we're not on a lot of things that benefit others that maybe they don't need the food stamps and all of that. If they have the knowledge, they can be whoever they want to be and do what they want to do. And I believe less intervening of the government as well. That's the key factor here as well. Giving the power to the people. The government has a sort of role in the country as to the laws. What you can do, what you can't do. And that's understood. But doing what you can do, and you're within the law, and you're doing the right thing, and you're working hard and passionately, and you're achieving success, is nothing better than that.
Yeah. I think one of the keys to this process is what you were just speaking about prior, which is talking about education. And I think that for the American people right now, really educating ourselves on policy, on understanding really in depth what we really want versus what we're being told. I think the education piece is going to be crucial and key to this upcoming election, on making sure we really understand what it is that's being said. And as we go out and we place that vote, we're placing votes for individuals and policies and our belief system that is truly aligned with where we are and not what we're being told. And so I think the more that we as American people can listen, get quality information, not skewed information based on what somebody wants you to hear, but true facts that we can delineate and take to the bank and really say, okay, you know what? This individual is really speaking to what I believe is best for our country, for our future as a nation. I think is going to be extremely important in this upcoming election. So I think what you're doing and making sure that we're getting the facts out to individuals so they can really make great educated decisions is going to be really important.
Yes, absolutely. I'm a common sense type of person, an entrepreneur. So everything is pretty much common sense. In the times we live in, the situations as to what is happening, the events now. I also want to touch up on the subject of the immigration. We're in a crisis with the immigration. We're in Title 8 now, because the previous title is expired, and really both titles, they don't work. So we have to bring in immigration policy that works for our country, and I have a plan. I have actually a very effective plan in regards to immigration. And the way I want to do it is, I want to secure our borders. So, listen, do you live in a home? I live in a home. Others live wherever they live. You have fences, you have barricades, you have walls. Do you invite everybody into your house? The factor is we have to secure our borders. We have to keep them secure. Now, we're a nation of immigrants. I mean, as a whole, we're a nation of immigrants. So, given and said all of that, we're a melting pot, and it should be inviting for migrants to come into our country. The way I want to do it is I want to have them pay into an admittance fee. So they pay a nominal fee into entering our country. Once they're vetted, once we understand where they came from and they're vetted, the process will be easier. They'll pay admittance fee, and then furthermore, we give them a social security card and a work permit. So then we know who is entering our country, where they live. We know where they're working. And then furthermore, they're attributing over to our tax system, which that's something we're not, getting as of now as we speak, because they're basically getting paid underneath the table, from their employer or what have you. So it works to our advantage. And then furthermore, they've achieved a great work ethic, great people. We'll give them a permanent residence in 3 years. And then after, again, them proving themselves, furthermore, they'd be U.S. citizens. And then it'd be the best reward, and then admitting more people into this country, and righteous and beautiful and productive and hardworking people, that'll attribute and contribute to our labor force, whereas we can manufacture our goods more cost efficiently. And we could also dig into our oil resources and all our resources, bring our gasoline down to $2.50, with us accumulating the barrels that is needed within our nation. We could bring the affordability back into our nation by just tweaking a few things, and we will have more tax revenue into our tax system. So my goal is to bridge the gap of the deficit that we're in. Hopefully, I would love to get out of our deficit. It would be my honor, but if I could, bring it from 44 to 20, within 4 years, it's pretty nice. And then if I have another term, I'll get out of it totally, within 8 years, have a goal of getting out of it. And then once we're out of it, the other administration will have an idea as to, how to run as I've run the administration. And then hopefully we'll have a surplus of money thereafter, whereas we're a bank as a nation. We don't need to loan money from any other country. We don't need anything from anybody. We're our own bank as the United States of America. And that's where we have to be.
Well, I tell you, immigration is definitely a hot topic. I would hope that the American people all know that we are all here as immigrants, and we are a nation that are made up of immigrants. I know my grandparents are immigrants, and my significant other's family are immigrants. And I think that I would hope that we would all say that we know that we want that immigration process to get fixed. Protecting our borders, I think, is extremely important for safety concerns. But I think that the piece that you touched on that is probably going to be the most important is the process. And I think the struggle is you have individuals coming in from all over the world that many times are facing persecution, and the process to go from where they are and trying to come into this amazing country is a very difficult process, and it's very time consuming. And it puts people in a position that almost makes it impossible for them to go through that process the right way. And I think our ability to go in, use the technology that is at our fingertips now. I mean, you see what we're able to do at the scale we're able to do it with technology, to be able to utilize that, and probably taking advantage of the private sector, and getting them involved on how do we take this process, streamline it so it could be something that is, it's easy, it's quick. We're still going through the vetting process, but we're doing it in a manner that we're able to take these individuals and get them into our communities the right way, embrace them, let them be a part of our workforce the right way, contributing, as you said, to our to the nation as a whole properly. I think if we can get that process fixed, that's the magic 8 ball that everybody's looking for.
Yes, and not only that, when they enter the country, not only they're not contributing to our tax system, we don't even know who they are, and then we're paying for their health. So who's burdened with the expense? Us taxpayers. We're all handling all of these issues for people that we don't even know exist in our country. It's very interesting how everything works. So if we could change the dynamics in a sense where, like I said, they're self-sufficient. We already have a work permit on them, a Social Security. They pay for their own health care, whatever they need. Furthermore, they don't send the money over to abroad to their families. They help the nation, and thus as a whole is much more advantageous as the way I see it. And furthermore, we would grow a prosperous country way more than what it is. There's no question.
Well, I'm going to give you the floor here as we close this out. You have the audience. You want them to come out and vote. You're the dark horse that's coming up that says, "Hey, we have a plan. We want to be different. We want to do something different." So the platform is yours here for the next few minutes. Please, whatever you'd like to say, and what message you'd like to get out to the people. Mr. Zilberberg, it is all yours.
Thank you so very much. I appreciate it, Chris. What I'd like to say to all of you, I'm the man of the plan. I always have a plan, no matter what. And there's a lot of problems and situations that come on my desk and emails in all types of ways, shapes and forms. But within the problems that come my way, I have quick solutions, very effective solutions, and even more so prosperous solutions out of problems. So what I like to do is the same for the nation, for you, the people, and the United States, our blessed country. I would appreciate all of you that like my positions, my policies as to what I have to say. Please visit my website at www.barakzilberberg.com, BARAKZIL as in Larry, B as in boy, B as in boy, ERG.com. Take a look at my positions. You like it? I have a $1 contribution, which is an effective $1, showing the power of our dollar and our currency in our country towards my campaign. So I can work for you, the American people, no other, and bringing everything back and the logistics and the country that we once were back into perspective of us being the superpower in the world. And that's what we have to be. So I would appreciate each and every one of you attributing $1 to my campaign. Go to my website and keep in mind, if 1 million people out there attribute $1, that's $1 million right there. $1 million will go a long way in my campaign running as an independent. And keep in mind, as running as independent, I go through the primaries and I'm into the general election. So I don't have to go through primaries. So I have a lot of time till November 8th of 2024. And I could, love to meet all of you, shake all your hands out there, and be a part of all of you, and serve you. Thank you. I appreciate your you giving me the opportunity and the time, and to be on your show. And it was so nice to meet you, Chris Adams. And God bless you and your loved ones. And again, the United States of America. Thank you so very much.
Well, thank you very much for joining us. This was a first for us, being able to spend some time and have the announcement happen here on the Pink Elephant. You heard it right here. He has announced. You can check out exactly what his policies are, what he believes, and contribute to his campaign at his website, www.barackzilberberg.com. You know where to find us. Thanks for joining us on the Pink Elephant. At our Instagram, at Ellis Adams Official, or myself, at Chris Adams _EAG, or www.ellisadamsgroup.com. We look forward to hanging out with you next week. And I don't know that we're going to have somebody announcing a presidential candidacy next week, but we look forward to having somebody special. But this week was one for the books. And Barak, again, thank you so much for being on the show. We appreciate you. Good luck, my friend.